So, hello and welcome to Blueprints Behind Business interview series. I'm your host, Brad Douglas, and today I'm glad to join everyone with Louis Kinley with Lynk Me. Louis, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, thanks, Brad. Well, first off, thank you for having me and really great to be here. Excited to have the opportunity to share here. Originally from Seattle, but I've been down in South Florida in Miami for about 2.5 years now. I was really fortunate to spend the pandemic down in the Caribbean. And so Miami was a bit of, coming back to reality for me. Uh, always been in tech and Miami's a really great scene for that these days and really excited to be here and part of the community.
Perfect. So, you want to give us a little bit of background on Lynk Me as well, your business?
Yeah. Well, we started several years ago and have gone through a few iterations to find the right solution and right fit for us in the market. We've got a lot of experience in the financial services and regulated industries because we used to offer an onboarding and compliance platform that, when we zoomed out of that, we really saw that the real issue all these companies face across industries is just not having the capacity to acquire and use the data in their business to really make decisions and drive more revenue. And when we were zoomed in a little too close on the compliance side of that, but when we zoomed out, we said, this is the same problems that make compliance hard in financial services are the same problems that make it hard for most businesses to grow. And so we've really built out a platform to give non-technical people the tools to collect their data from anywhere, whether it's a spreadsheet or database, and really bring that together into one big clean knowledge graph that you can actually visually see where your customers are and things like that, and then provide a suite of AI tools to build reports and analytics and dashboards on top of all that data you've gathered.
Wow, very, very complex, but at the same time, I can understand a great service for businesses.
Yeah, thank you.
So to kind of get going here, what really sparked you to become an entrepreneur, start your own business and get Lynk Me going?
Yeah, I think it's runs in the family a little bit. My mom had started her own business back when I was in middle school, so I got to see a little bit of that journey. But really, on my own side, it was working in a startup. I was working in a Andreessen Horowitz backed startup in Seattle, and then met my co-founder who had an idea, and I thought, wow, I know how to build that. And being naive and not having as much of the pure business background, we just started building the technology and thought it was a technology solution. Kind of just jumped in with both feet and started learning as we went. So it's it was really inspired by being in a startup and seeing how easy it appeared to see the growth happening and building and delivering solutions. And then, seeing a real opportunity to have an impact on people's lives. I think that was what really motivated us to take that leap, was see that if we could deliver a solution that really worked, we could really help small business owners have more time to grow their business and really have more time to spend with their families and just do what they want instead of being buried in paperwork or, doing the mundane things.
Fantastic purpose. I can be behind that 100% for sure. So, kind of continuing on here, what are maybe some misconceptions about running a business, and how have you addressed some of those?
Yeah. Well, it's a few of the big ones, and I had coming in for sure was, how easy it would be to really find your ideal customers and provide your products to them. I think it's deceptively easy when there's a real expert marketer or salesperson in the mix that's making that happen. And it's a whole different ball game when you're doing it on your own without all the networks and connections that go on
Yeah.
behind the scenes there. Um, and another is, that you really need funding. I think a lot of folks get stuck up on the idea that, they need to go out and get investment or get a big line of credit in order to start something. And that may be true in some industries, absolutely. You know, it's hard to start manufacturing things without some capital. But I think there are always kind of cheaper solutions to bootstrap it and test things without requiring, you know, that kind of starting capital. And that stops a lot of people from just starting. I think the most important thing is just to start, and you'll kind of find your path from there.
That's perfect. Take that first step, that first
That's
leap.
that's
It's
it.
hard, but you got to do it.
Yeah.
So, can you share a valuable lesson or piece of advice you wish you would have known earlier in your start in your entrepreneurial journey there?
Oh boy. Yeah. There are a few, you know, market research is valuable, but
Mhm.
you've got to also trust your own insight and understanding. It's again, it can be easy to talk to people that don't really understand the problem space or the solution that you want to deliver and hear that, oh, you're crazy or that's not going to work. And if you hear that enough times, you know, it can be easy to get derailed or think that, oh, maybe they know something I don't. And when in reality, you're probably the one that knows something they don't, right? You've
Mm,
had the idea, you've had the insight that says, hey, I see this problem and I think we can solve it.
mm,
And it can be hard to communicate that at times, right? And so I think that's where the disconnect often is. Um, and you know, following that is really having a practice of consistently going back and reviewing your plans, reviewing your strategies, and having the humility to be honest with yourself when you're doing some of that strategic review. You know, it's easy to go through a SWOT and kind of just fill in the boxes and
mm,
put some things in there, but it's much harder and more valuable to really take the time to sit with yourself and be honest with yourself about where your strengths and weaknesses lie. Because, you know, when you start down a path, we all have egos and we can all, you know, let that kind of keep us going in a direction that maybe isn't serving us or isn't really working as well as we would like, just because, you know, we say, hey, we've committed, we've got to do it this way. When in reality, you know, unless you have investors that are holding your feet to the fire to say hey, you have to do this, you always have the opportunity to pause and reflect and kind of redirect your efforts. But I think, you know, a lot of times our egos get in the way of that honest reflection.
mm. That's really great insight. Great points there. I loved what you said. So, if you think about, staying adaptable to change in a very, very busy, evolving landscape, what are some things that you do to stay innovative and competitive?
Yeah. I think first is, you know, really being open to new information. You know, I think all of us, again, when we feel like we're experts in something, it can be easy to kind of close off and just heads down focus on what you know and execute. And that always closes us off from opportunities. So finding those sources, whether it's people in, you know, networking events or on YouTube or wherever, or one of my favorites is Hacker News. It's a great wide-ranging kind of technology sciences news portal that's run by the Y Combinator, that, you know, it's just always provides kind of insights on where the leading edge of the market is on a lot of different areas. And so at least being aware of what's happening out there, you know, gives you a lot more opportunities to at least try something and adapt as changes are coming or preempt it. You know, and coming from a software engineering background, I still know a lot of engineers that don't think that AI is meaningful or useful.
Mm,
And that one to me is kind of mind blowing because I, you know, I think most of us see how powerful it is. And so, you know, it's really just about staying open-minded at some level, right? Which much easier said than done. And I think that's where, again, having a process of reflection and consistently questioning what you're doing, actually gives you the opportunity to be wrong, or to admit to yourself that, hey, you know what, that thing I believed 6 months ago is no longer true, and maybe I should actually be going right instead of left. And so I think it's, it all comes back to reflection, and finding quality sources of information. There's a lot of garbage out there, but that's, yeah.
There is a ton of stuff out there, and I'm guilty of the AI thing myself. Early on kind of questioning, but
Yeah.
definitely a huge tool that I think is going to really help, everyone. So
Yeah.
great feedback there. So can you give us a little glimpse into maybe some future plans or goals that you have for your business, and kind of what your next chapter looks like for you?
Yeah, definitely. So, right now and in the near term, we're really just laser focused on making AI super easy to use for non-technical people. There's businesses of all sizes are trying to figure out how to apply this, and a lot of them were rightfully worried about the privacy concerns. You look at OpenAI and all the lawsuits and copyright violations they've had, and it makes you really question whether you can actually trust some of those big providers, which is why we're really focused on not just making AI useful, but privacy respecting. We want to provide for business owners a tool that they can trust to run their data through and actually get answers and apply AI to the things that are most useful to them. So in the near term, it's just that. It's making it even easier for business owners to bring in AI, use it for the processes that they care about, and do that in a way that's completely privacy respecting. And then a little bit longer term, it's really building on that to make it super easy to start automating some of those processes. So today we make it easy to bring your data together and just ask questions, as you would a friend or a coworker, and start to get answers. And we see, longer term, those questions are the foundation of automating certain processes within the business. Instead of needing your assistant to go look through 3 or 4 different systems and check different things and build up a spreadsheet for you, we want it to be so easy that the AI can basically do that for you. You can type in your question, hey, which contracts are expiring in 3 months that need to be reviewed? And with that, hey, what documents or what reviews should I be doing based on what I've done in the past? And things like that make it easier to start automating some of those processes and really making AI work for you instead of, being a kind of an oppositional force.
Sounds like an exciting future for sure.
Yeah. And as far as the next chapter of the journey, I think it's really excited to be growing the team and bringing on more of the non-technical aspects. We've been a very tech and data science focused team for a long time, and really excited to see more of the supporting cast coming in and having the opportunity to really engage with a lot more businesses and solve more problems and see how this fits into a few different industries than we've traditionally served. So just excited for more growth, really.
Fantastic. Yeah, and I wish you all the best there for sure.
Yeah, thank you.
So to kind of finish up here, what advice would you offer maybe an aspiring entrepreneur just starting their journey?
Yeah, wow. Be careful with who you trust in your, with your advising and kind of sharing your idea. There are a lot of folks out there that will offer a supporting hand only to, try to use that knowledge that you're sharing for themselves. And so that discernment of the people around you is critical, especially when you're early on. And, find those, I think this is one of the cliches probably, that I'll never get tired of saying though is find those experts that really complement what you bring to the table. You know, it's easy to go into business thinking that you know it all, but we don't. And when we try to do it all, oftentimes, you know, that's when we fail because we're really not experts at everything and you can't be. And when you find those people around you who can really complement what you're doing, it just makes everything go so much faster and more smoothly. And, you know, I think those are really the two big ones. It's be careful
Those
with
are
who you bring in, but also, you know, bring in good people.
great advice, critically important for sure. So Louis, look, thank you so much for the time that you've spent with us today. I'm sure everyone's going to love learning more about your journey. To everyone watching, I look forward to seeing you at our next episode.